Well, as you may know, may or may not know, Dan not here today, celebrating his nuptials, getting married. We wish him nothing but the best. Congratulations to he and Catherine. He'll be back in about a week and a half after an extended honeymoon in, what they say, Fargo or Key Largo. We're not sure exactly which one it's going to be. So the Minions are here. The Gadfly's not. Common's not around. Dan's not here, which means we need some help. We had to find somebody. The only other person we could find that wasn't invited to the wedding was the guy that said in his own blog at KFAN.com, after week 5, a loss to the Chicago Bears, we are in first place. Paragraph, we are the greatest fans on earth, and we support the greatest sports franchise in history, which has won more NFL championships than anyone. Paragraph, just shut up. The man who typed those salient and succinct words following that game. And by the way, we thank our friends at Robert Paul TV for their support of our Football Pick segment. We bring in the one and only, the living legend, Mr. Carl Gerbschmidt. How are you?
Wait a minute, Dan's not on today?
No, Dan got married today.
Yeah, I heard that was happening, but, I thought he had a responsibility.
Well, no, he and it was kind of based on some of the advice you gave him earlier this week. You told him to be diligent at the wedding reception because at your wedding reception, some of your gifts disappeared, so he felt like he would be better served to keep an eye on the gift table than to be joining us.
Well, that's why I hired a videotape guy.
Was your wedding reception at a VF?
Dollar dances. So he got married today?
Yeah, he's got you and I and Corey and Gary were the only guys that didn't get invited to the wedding, basically.
I have a question.
Yeah.
At the part where they say if anyone objects to, you should. I can't imagine him not objecting to something.
Well, it's hard to believe, isn't it?
It's not easy to get along with.
No, but he's found himself a nice gal, like I know you did with Mrs. Gerbschmidt, and all of us have. And
well, you gotta get lucky.
Yeah, you know what we call it here? It's kind of a football analogy. We call it out kicking your coverage.
Yeah, I don't think your team would know anything about that.
See, now why do you have to take it in that direction?
Well, I thought you wanted my football expertise.
Well, okay. First of all, based on how you'd been a little wordy in your blog early.
Yeah, I had to kind of make up for space, so I kind of cut it down a little this week.
Oh, I would have thought you would have had, at least a little bit of a mea culpa. Your guy Brett Favre didn't play very well against the Bears.
Oh, he played great.
Well, he threw some interceptions. He did the old school Brett, just throw it up for grabs.
Brett, that's just, he loves the game. He loves to play the game. I mean, you have to let a guy who loves to play the game play the game. You can't stifle a great artist like that.
Are you a little worried though that he might have gone back to some of his old bad habits and
doesn't never had any bad habits? What are you talking? I don't know if you are you qualified to do this show?
I host the pregame show on the Minnesota Vikings radio network.
I don't know if you understand, but Brett Favre has thrown more touchdown passes than anyone in National Football League history.
He has. That's true.
He has more wins than any other quarterback in National Football League history. He has more consecutive starts than any quarterback in National Football. I don't know if you understand that.
He's also thrown more interceptions than anybody in National Football League history.
Well, no. First of all, number one, we're not sure about that. Okay?
He's lost a lot of games too.
Statement. Okay, that's what you seem to think. Okay, I think that's not necessarily the case.
How long ago was that Super Bowl?
You're talking about how long ago? How long ago was your Super Bowl win?
Well, don't you think after 10 years?
You've never had one.
Don't you think after 10 years, though, the statute of limitations kind of runs out, and you gotta at least sniff the postseason? Last time you made the playoffs, didn't Randy Moss and the Vikings beat you at Lambeau Field?
Okay, is Randy Moss still playing for the Vikings? Oh, that's right, he's not, because he hated it there.
And he didn't play for you.
He's a smart player. He wanted to get out. He hates Minnesota.
But my lasting memory of him is him pulling his pants down, or pretending to at least, and mooning the fans at Lambeau Field. I don't think you were very happy about that.
Oh, yeah, it shows he has no class. That doesn't mean he's not smart. I mean, he's smart enough to get out of that terrible situation there.
How good would the Packers be if they had Randy Moss in their lineup right now?
We don't need Randy. We're in first place.
You are in first place.
We don't need Randy Moss. Okay, we don't need him.
Who have you beaten so far?
Pretty much everybody except for we had a little mistake, a little mishap.
Ooh, and that was against
the referees were conspiring against us.
That was against
because we're in first place.
That was against the Bears.
I don't think we expected to go 16-0. Would have been nice, and I think a lot of us thought it was possible. But I don't think you occasionally something weird will happen and you lose a game.
So you think that's just an aberration last week?
Yeah, of course it is.
At Lambeau Field against your favorite team or your favorite rival, the Chicago Bears. Yeah, your rival, the Bears.
Yeah. The Vikings are not a rival.
I know. I'm well aware.
I don't care about the Vikings.
Well, you have a couple of tough stops left. You have to go to. I mean, you have Washington.
Now, Washington.
That's at Lambeau, right?
Washington's terrible.
They're 3-1.
Washington is terrible.
And if not for the Giants getting a last-second, goal line stop, Washington would be unbeaten.
Yeah, but again, look who they've played. They haven't played anybody.
You have to go to Denver after your bye week.
I hate Denver.
And you have to go down to Dallas.
Yeah, we should win that game easy.
And you still have to go to Chicago.
So what?
They beat you once.
Yeah. And we have beaten them too.
You seem to know a lot about wedding receptions. Have you attended a lot of wedding receptions?
Yeah, it's pretty much when you live like in Elk Mound.
Yeah.
Someone's pretty much getting married almost all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been in a lot of dollar dances. I've spent a lot of money.
Now, do you just do $1? Some people like to come up and be big shots and give like $2. Do you just do $1?
Well, I found that for $5, you can dip her. If you know what I mean.
Really? Yeah. How does Mrs. Gerbschmidt feel about that?
Well, she has her $5 bill too. I don't know what she's doing.
And she's probably watching you probably got her so trained to watch the gift table.
People in Minnesota do it at weddings, but we have a pretty normal sort of a wedding life here in Wisconsin.
Well, and I've been to a couple of weddings in Wisconsin. In Barreiro, I went to a wedding.
Barreiro's nice. It's got the Ringling Brothers Hall of Fame there.
I was at a ski resort just outside of Barreiro. I went to a wedding reception.
Yeah, it's the circus capital of America.
That's what I understand.
Yeah.
And at most weddings in Wisconsin I've been to, people get kind of drunk. Does that happen at the weddings in Elk Mound?
Well, why not?
I mean, I was wondering because
something wrong with you?
Well, because
there's something wrong with drinking at a wedding reception?
No, not at all. But I'm just trying.
What kind of teetotaler are you?
No, not at all. But I'm just trying to figure out. Say for instance.
Do you have any social life at all? Are you familiar with what people do when they get together?
I went to college in Wisconsin. I know what happens.
Think about maybe going to a bar once.
No, I can't do that anymore. I'm not allowed.
Yeah.
Mrs. Fun doesn't let me do that. Yeah.
By the way.
Yeah.
You're not fooling anybody.
What do you mean?
It's not your real name. I looked in the phone book.
Oh, you did?
Unless you're unlisted.
I'm unlisted.
Okay, well maybe then, but I doubt whether your name is really Mr. Fun.
See, here's the question I had. When you were doling out advice for Barreiro earlier this week, you didn't mention to him kind of like what the protocol is for brides and grooms when it comes to drinking on their wedding nights?
Well, you want to stay awake. It's important.
Okay.
Because it's your wedding night.
Right.
Yeah. I mean.
If the motel rooms are rocking,
anyway,
don't bother knocking.
You want to be awake.
Yeah.
You don't want to miss it.
Right.
And you try not to throw up.
That's
because, again, there's someone videotaping the whole thing.
Right. And
did you throw up on yourself?
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
They got to edit that out.
Right. And say, for instance, you want to save that wedding gown, and then you throw up on it, then you have to get it dry cleaned.
I don't understand why women save their wedding gown.
Well, maybe they think they're going to go back.
Wear it a second time?
They're going to get married again, maybe?
They're going to get married like 3-4 times in the same gown?
Did Mrs. Gerbschmidt save her wedding gown?
I don't mean, no, it's somewhere in the house. I think it's in the closet along with the football cards from 1975.
Oh, you used to have some 1975 football cards.
We got football cards from pretty much since 19...
Lynn Dickey?
Or something like that.
Lynn Dickey?
Lynn Dickey was a great quarterback.
He was a little immobile.
Well, now he is, but he was very good back in the day.
So what do you think is going to happen? Well, let's do this. Let's do some football picks, shall we?
That's what Gary told me you wanted me to come on for.
So you want to do some picks? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Well, our standings...
I told that I win a television if I do real well.
As of last week, Barreiro led the whole thing with 12 wins and 6 losses.
What kind of TV do I win?
Oh, he said you win a TV if you win?
If I do real well, I win a TV.
Dan has a big plasma flat screen in his basement he'll give to you.
All right.
Corey's 11-7. I'm 10-8, and the common man, Dan Cole, is 9-9 on the picks.
His show. He's terrible.
Well, he's been doing it for a long time.
He doesn't have any point to what he's talking about.
The guy gets like 7 weeks of vacation. I can't figure out if that's because they want him to be off the air.
I don't have anybody in charge of the station.
That might be part of it. All right, let's start with Tampa Bay. Home against Tennessee. The Buccaneers favored by 3 after losing to Indianapolis last weekend. Who'd the common man pick?
Common man took, which game is this?
Tampa Bay, Tennessee.
Tampa Bay, Tennessee. Common took Tampa Bay in large part because I think he wanted to say to me Tampa Bay,
He likes just saying that. All right, well, I'm going to take Tennessee. I think, the Titans have been on a bit of a run lately. I don't think Tampa Bay's all they're cracked up to be, and they certainly don't have a running game right now. Tennessee covers the 3, might win on the road. Corey?
I'm taking Tennessee as well. I just think Tampa Bay's lost too much in their backfield, and Tennessee's a pretty good team, so I'm going to go with the Titans.
All right. Who did Dan take?
Dan took Tampa Bay.
All right, and Carl Gerbschmidt, you're picking this game.
Well, I don't think anybody really cares.
All right.
First of all, that's what I think. I mean,
Okay.
who cares? It's like it's a game